So, we join back in with our adventurers. After last week, they had continued to delve deeper into the Temple of Larixan. After Dante had successfully removed the power source from some weird power source chamber, they removed like a weird cylinder with glowing light, and is now following a set of glowing lights down a corridor. Eleni and Volu went off into a room that seemed to just depict some sort of protections against the Celestial. And upon reading it, I believe it's Volu that gained the advantage against the first attack against a Celestial creature.
Yeah.
I thought it was Eleni for some reason.
I thought it was both of us, but
because I thought Eleni was the only one who was able to read it. Where Volu,
I did write something down about it.
Yeah, I'm sure Volu failed whatever the check was, and I thought so.
One of us had it.
It was a religion or a history check. I know one of you had it, but for some reason in my head I thought Volu. But
let Volu have it. That makes more sense.
To be fair, we could probably look. It wasn't that late into the session.
Just do 2 intro bits.
I mean, we've already introed this.
Or 3 to say.
We could just say whoever does it first.
No, the rules are here. Basically,
I rolled an 8 and then a 10, so it can't be that.
Yeah,
much.
so I think it was that Eleni failed the thing, but Volu had heard old history.
Yeah, you made us do an Arcana roll, didn't you? No. You saw me.
Okay. So we left off, however, as Eechie spoke with Sir Artur. A tense conversation where it appears he has figured out Dante's predicament, or at least thinks he's figured it out. And we left as he quite poignantly pointed out to Eechie that he once again did not know where his charge was. So we do join now with Dante. You're slowly stepping down the corridors following the lights. And at the end, you can see what looks like it opens up into another circular room.
If I remember right, you can't mark these walls, can you? Not like scratch.
No, they don't seem to be. Like you haven't, obviously, you've not tried everything, but they seem at least not. You wouldn't just be able to hack at it normally. It definitely seems reinforced. Although I would say that you would know you could draw on them. Like pencil would still, chalk or whatever would still mark it.
Okay. I might do that. Just stick a chalk. Just like I keep. You know how they say in a maze, keep your one hand, like left hand or whatever, on the side of the wall, and just walk. Got to do that and draw. Chalk. If I've got chalk, if I've got paint or whatever, some sort of artsy instrument even.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to be walking and keep following this line. This power line, as it were. Power line.
Okay. So as you make your way further down, you eventually come to where the room opens up. Just before you step in, you can see that there's intricate carvings on the wall. However, they're sort of like, it's almost like as you try to look at them, it's almost like it shifts and distorts. So you can't you can tell. Don't know. It's hard to tell. Hard to tell definitely without entering. And it's basically you're not able to see what the carvings are of from here without the step in. You can see that in the center of the room is a shallow basin that's on like a pedestal low to the ground, and you can see that it's filled to the top with water, but also from this distance, there's almost soft ripples every now and again, and drips and drops.
So there's a doorway, and then that's what's inside the doorway.
So we're through the doorway. There's another circular room, just like the one you've come from.
All right, okay.
With the carvings along the wall and the basin in the middle.
Anywhere to put a battery?
No, nowhere to put a battery, but there is an exit over on the left-hand side. They're quite large rooms, so it's still a good 40-ish feet, but it's just over there. There's
before
no
I
other exits
approach,
that you can see.
before I kind of go too far into anything, just interested to see if there's any kind of magic stopping anything. I'm going to pull out my robe, and I want to just kind of cut my hand, and then just kind of like smear it over the robe. And I have no idea if this is going to work or not. But the thought process is, if there's some sort of magic circle or something, if I throw this in, it might have celestial essence on it, so it won't come out.
Okay.
So I kind of do that, and I'm just going to throw the rope in front of me.
You throw the rope in front of you and then reel it back. Nothing seems to happen.
I'm not. Would I know if that would work? No. Cool.
The thing is even in Dante's intelligence and in the world that Dante lives in, this is still experimental. You know that you don't know what magic Larixan can do, right? Because this is everything in here theoretically was set by a god. So it's hard for you as a mortal, even with magic and intelligence, because by normal law, that wouldn't stop like magic circle, right? If you threw the rope into magic circle and pulled it out, it wouldn't stop it.
I'm loving the idea of Dante standing there for half an hour, just testing it, prodding it, and then he steps in and it gets him anyway.
I mean, to be fair, it's better than just running off. So I want to approach the basin then.
Okay, as you step in, the first thing you notice first thing you notice is immediately there is almost like gusting and shifting air currents. So almost like when you open a window and it's like blustering through. But it's almost like you get hit from that side and then from that side, and then there's like a swirling wind that passes you. And also, interestingly, it moves from biting cold to almost humid and warm within seconds. All the walls now, the intricate carvings slow in there rather than constant shifting like they were doing before. They start to slow down, and you start to see depictions of seasonal changes, blossoms blooming, falling leaves, and then as it shifts, it turns into icy landscapes, and it's almost like seasonal shifting.
So is it like the world outside of this little circle is slow light?
It's too fast to be represented. What you think, it wouldn't represent anything that you know here on Astera, right? It's almost shifting within seconds. It's like, and it shifts back and forwards. It'll be like sunny fields full of crops, and then it'll show that same field covered in snow like seconds later. And
sorry, I meant whereas before when I was looking at it, I couldn't see what it was.
No, yeah. So before, when you were looking at it, they were just all shifting continuously, almost too quick. Now that you've stepped in, they've slowed down, and it's like giving you like a few seconds snapshot.
Has it slowed down, or because I'm in it, I've sped up?
Hard to tell.
Okay.
You would see now that you get closer. In the center of the room, there lies a shallow basin filled with almost silvery, shimmering liquid that seems to be. There's the ripples and the disturbance, but also what you notice is it's almost shifting into like. Over time, it freezes and then it unfreezes and turns back to liquid, and then it freezes and then it unfreezes, and I mean literally freezes, turns to a whole block of ice.
Can I do any type of Arcana check or anything to see if I could figure out what this is?
Yeah.
And also, does it fall in my remit for advantage?
Yes.
Good rolls. Arcana, right?
Mm-hmm.
23.
Okay, so you think there's definitely something to do with the liquid. And as you're sort of looking and examining, you almost catch a reflection of an inscription in the liquid. And what you notice is that the liquid seems to be reflecting the season that's currently in the inscriptions and the scrollings on the wall. So when it's winter on there, that's when it freezes. And as it turns back to summer, it's almost as if this whole room is experiencing seasonal shifts. And first thing that you think is it almost reminds you of like a little bit more Fey than like Celestial. And that time difference is giving you that vibe. But also what you suddenly realize is that if you were transformed or illusioned or glamoured in a way that was timed, it would run out in seconds in here. So if you had like a glamour on that's supposed to last 8 days, well, a season just passed. Your glamour goes off. You think that holding concentration spells, especially form-changing ones, would be difficult in this room.
My form is still in place though, because I don't think I've got time.
Seems to be. Doesn't seem to be massively affected, but almost like you're feeling that like it's not like actual time is passing, so you're not aging rapidly quickly, but it's almost like they're using the constant fluctuation of the Fae to disturb any glamours, illusions, things that require time as a. And I'd say with the 23, you don't know what, but that liquid is. It's not just like some spectral thing in the room. There's something, it's definitely almost maybe that the liquid might be part of what's causing the room shift rather than just being affected by it.
I'm going to get any type of utensil or fork or whatever and just start tapping the liquid.
Okay, so obviously as you tap it when it's ice, it just taps. But as it returns to its liquid form and you sort of scoop it, it's almost more the consistency of like syrup. Even though it's flat, so the second it returns to the bowl, it looks like river water almost. But when you pull it up and it drips from the fork, it is syrup texture. You can give me either it's an arcana that will be much more difficult, or if you have any potion, that sort of proficiencies, then you can use that instead.
I'll go for arcana.
No worries.
Oh,
natural
20.
Nice.
Genuinely, it rolled up my keyboard and came down. I'm going, this is going to be shit, isn't it? So nat 20. So I take my 26.
First off, it gives you the impression of, rather than a potion that you would necessarily drink, it almost gives you more of a coating or maybe something you would throw onto something, that sort of liquid. But it's almost like an essence. And through sort of like the room and what you're looking at, you think this is like the distilled energy of the Feywild.
Can I bottle some of it?
Okay. You won't be able to determine what it does without potion-y, not, either taking it to an alchemist or fucking around with it. But yeah, I'd say you probably would have an empty pot. Well, you've drank potions while you've been down here. So you would probably have the potion bottles. So you could fill up one vial.
Cool.
You've got a vial. You'll have to custom item it, but it's a vial of essence of Feywild.
Cool.
While you're doing that, I'll flick quickly over to Volu and Eleni, who took a different path and went into a room where they had read some inscriptions and learned that, again, this room seemed to disrupt celestial energies. And you can see again that this room does continue to what looks like it opens up as another circular room further on down.
I mean, I think before we went too far, I would probably be thinking, let's just let people know where we're going, because I think the reason I came into here was we wanted to rest, didn't we? Well, to talk to Volu, but also we needed to rest. And I didn't really want to rest in a place where there were other rooms that we hadn't checked out.
Yeah.
But I'm under half health, so we do need a rest. I don't know about you, Volu, but I was injured.
Yeah, I'm pretty spent.
Tapped.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, you had this is technically resting, right? Like walking around and reading stuff isn't enough to break rest. It'd only be if you encountered something that caused you to. I think it's if you use spells or if you fight.
Okay. So I would maybe nip back into the main room and just sort of go, some interesting celestial stuff in here, and there's another room. I think we're just going to maybe check it out.
Eechie would also be like, is Dante down that way?
No, he was with you.
Shit! And you see him sort of he starts walking up the other exit from that room.
I'm going to just sort of look back at Volu and roll my eyes, like.
Yeah, Artur and Ash. You can see Artur's cleaning and sort of sharpening his weapons and sort of taking care of all of his stuff. Ash is helping out, but also sort of prepping. You know, he's doing some more mixing. He's doing sort of prepping some more potion stuff.
What's their demeanor like? How are they?
Give me an insight.
Because I think we missed all of that conversation, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
That's a 16.
I mean, so Artur looks tired, even as he's just sort of. You can see the wincing and the sort of groans as he's. You can tell that they are probably coming up to as spent as some of you guys are. Ash seems fine. They're sort of just they're very much looking to Sir Artur to see what to do next. But I would say with the 16, you catch that they're sort of not trying to look at you. They're definitely like doing what they're doing and trying to sort of keep out of your eye line a little bit.
So I'll just say, you guys staying here, yeah? We'll be 5 minutes.
Yes. Would you like Ash to?
No, I'm not sure any of us should be on our own, and I'll just throw a worried look at where Eechie's gone. And say, I just want to make sure nothing's going to creep up behind us while we have a rest.
Okay, we will keep this room secure.
Thank you.
They will say, take Ash sort of rummages. It takes one of these, and he has like a very, very small, simple horn.
Okay.
We should be able to hear each other. Blow twice if it is you need us, but 3 times if you really need us.
So it's not a magical. It's just a
no.
horn.
It's literally like wooden crafted, very small. It won't make the incredible noise, but in this sort of echoey space, it should be enough to alert them at this distance. What, sorry?
No,
can be.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Cool. I've just never heard of it.
It's about the shape, isn't it? It's about the space.
Okay.
So I would have thought so. I mean, you can make noises just with your hands, so I'm imagining wood would work.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, they're not like crazy volumes, but it's enough in this corridor to get off a do.
Yeah. Cool. So twice for danger.
Twice if you need help, 3 times if it's an emergency.
Okay.
So
cool.
like twice is like, come here, we found something.
Yeah.
3 times is fucking run.
Yeah, we're in deep shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Brill. I'll wander back to Volu and very quietly I'll walk past Volu as if sort of like, right, we're going this way. And very quietly I'll just go, Looks like Dante's wandered off again.
You're saying that very casually.
Well, Eechie's gone after him. I don't know how far he's gone.
Should we be going with Eechie, or
Let's just
what's
poke
happening?
our head in this next room. Let's just see. We don't need to go in and spend lots of time investigating, but I don't want there to be some kind of a monster hiding around a corner somewhere. We go chasing off after Eechie, and the next thing we know, Ash and Artur are being attacked.
Yeah, you are. This is the reason why you've got the level head. Okay, let's check things out.
Okay. So, yeah, like I
Well,
said,
that'd be
just
very
up to the
nice.
entrance.
The party is very split up.
It is.
And that'd be very,
But
very
I don't want to
nice.
be too
Yeah.
split. I just want to literally poke my head in and sort of go, is this just another room with a load of inscriptions, and can we come back and look at this later, kind of thing.
Okay. So, as you get down to the next doorway, you can see. This chamber seems to be lined with almost not faded but worn murals along the walls. And as you sort of like taking a peek in, the walls seem to be like almost have chars and burns. And then the actual inscriptions, a lot of the murals and the drawings on the wall seem to show intricate symbols sort of inside roaring flames. Each symbol almost seems to represent a different plane. You sort of recognizing like, oh, that's the symbol for the plane of air, or like it is their magical symbol, but it's that, their symbol. It would be like how you might invoke an air spell, that symbol might be used. It's like that sort of thing.
These are all on the walls all the way around.
On the walls in the flames and encircled by chains.
Okay.
As you're looking in, you can see that the room itself is pretty plain. Just the same circular room. There's the central circle, but in the very center, there's almost like a brazier.
Yeah, brazier.
Brazier. I can never think of that.
Brazier's the thing that I wear, honey.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I always found how to say that, but yeah, a brazier. Yeah, there's a brazier, and it seems to have, but like old, long burned out, like ashes in there.
Okay.
And that's all you can see.
Is
from
there any
here.
other exit
The
from
only
here?
exit goes out to the right.
So there is another one.
Yeah, and it turns to the right.
Is that the same direction that the other room that Artur and Ash are in?
No.
No.
So if you imagine you've sort of gone, so you've currently gone like out of your room at 11 o'clock into the celestial room.
Yeah.
Then
Straight
12 o'clock straight up.
Yeah.
And then it goes 3 o'clock to you.
Okay.
So you're almost like doing this.
Yeah.
And the room that the way that each went down was the other strip.
Okay. I'm just gonna say, I mean, this looks like it could be some kind of a maze. I think maybe we should head back to the others. I wonder if there's a way we can block up one of these doors just to... Is it worth it? I don't know.
You want to take a peek down do you want to go in at all, or are you
Personally, I don't want to go in here just in case. I'm just wary, especially with what happened with the magic circle and Dante, and we've seen some weird shit down here, haven't we? I mean, it's up to if Vola wanted to go in, I'd go in with him, but I'm just feeling a little bit.
Go in, break the party. Go in, break the party.
It's already broken. You've wandered off.
Well, I'm saying that's Vola already. Vola's already like, should we go back? And we said we'll go in and have a look, and that's clearly just more problems that we'll have to.
Exactly. I mean, I'm just looking at this and going, okay, this is really interesting, but there's yet another corridor, and it's not necessarily taking us back round in a circle, and we could end up properly getting lost.
Sorry.
Can we move the table in the other room in, or is there anything in here we can use to block the door at all?
Nothing in these rooms. These rooms literally seem very bare, except for their almost altar-like. And there's obviously they've been different in the different rooms, but they're almost like just dedicated to that.
Okay.
I
think we
Although
go back.
Do we have any traps? Or
Sorry,
like,
I mean,
I've got my alarm.
Yeah, that's what I
set an
meant.
alarm.
So
You could set an alarm very easily.
Have I got any spells left? Hang on a sec.
And then, other than that, you could probably attempt, while it would be a roll, to set up like rope with something that will fall, right? Like,
Yeah, I've got nothing magical left. I've got No, I don't even have caltrops left. Hang on. Says here I still have smoke bombs, but I don't know if we actually used them all.
oh yeah. No, I think you did.
I think we used them, didn't we?
No, I think you only used one in the race.
We used a couple in the race.
Because I had 20 and I gave 4 of them to Dante.
4 got used in 4 went with Dante. 4 got used in the race.
So I'm down to 12.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just reduce that down. Not that helps us from an alarm point of view, but I think we're gonna have to rig something with rope and like
Lenny
a trap.
potentially could set up with a smoke bomb. In terms of if you know it's there, you know they're set off by impact. Just leaving it there for something to trigger it.
Can I try and either set like a snarelium or something where if they stand on it or they knock it, it's gonna drop the bomb?
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe on the inside, what I'm thinking is on the inside of the first room above the doorway, to have it, if something comes into that room, it drops the bomb.
Yep.
And sets it off.
Yeah. So it will be a survival check for you to set that up. Volu, if you're proficient in survival, which I think you are, you can aid.
I will.
Okay. Do you want to roll separately or shall I roll again?
No. You can roll.
Oh, much better. That's 24.
Okay, so yeah, you're able to set up the rope.
Wonderful. So and then I'll just be like, right, let's head back to see Artur. Maybe they're back by now.
Yeah, let's stay as a group.
As you start to make your way back up and towards Artur, I'll flick back to Dante. So Dante, you've taken your sample, put the cork on. The only exit from this room is over to your left. And you can see that it almost stretches maybe 40 feet, opens up into a smaller and definitely not circular room. And then you can see the corridor continues another 40 feet. Do you know what I mean? So there's like 40 foot of room space, but almost perfectly in line. Another 40 foot and another what looks more like a circular room at the end.
What's the thing on the roof? Is that still going off in a direction? Because that's the thing I've been following.
They're all flashing down towards again, they are going down the left, but you would see actually. I think you would see. So the 40 foot that's closest to you is flashing away from you, and the 40 foot on the other side is flashing towards you.
Sorry, what is flashing to? I'm confused.
So the lights down the corridors. So you look to your left. That
but I was
corridor,
following something on the roof, wasn't I? It looked like a circuit.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's almost like following these lights down because you remember when the power all went off and the lights turned on. The circuit seemed to follow these. They like almost follow along. But yeah, all just going down that way.
I will carry on following down those.
Okay, so you follow down the next 40 feet or so before entering into a rectangle room. Seems to be.
Oh, actually, hang on. Just before anything gets said, I'm going to stealth.
Okay.
It's not awful. 19.
Okay.
I'm cold.
So sorry, 1 second.
Just checking. Have I beaten his passive perception?
No, right, yeah. So, just making sure I'm doing this right. So, as you start to make your way into this more rectangular chamber, the air seems to grow colder, and there's almost like tension in the air all of a sudden. The same sort of tension that you get around lightning storms and other natural disasters of high energy. And what immediately grabs your attention is the large, almost oppressively large stone vault door. As you look upon it, can you give me a perception first of all? So it's a scene. Sorry, go on. You do the perception.
I didn't see anything. 8.
Okay. So as you look over, it just seems like a seamless slab of dark stone cover. It seems to block the passageway. It doesn't even look like a door. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can see the door frame, and then it looks like somebody's dropped a black slate, almost volcanic rock stone in the path. As you get a bit closer, you see that there's 3 points on the door that seem to glow and sort of give off small arcane energy. So there's a red looking one, a purpley looking one, and a almost just pure light, like the same sort of light you've been seeing around the temple.
So in front of me, this rectangle. So this is the vault we're talking about, yeah?
But this is the door to the, if that makes sense. You can see, well, you didn't get it. So you can see there's a bit like mosaic tiles on the floor. They don't, again, it still seems undamaged and unweathered by time. And you can see that there's almost like small statues of robed figures. They're like almost gargoyle-y, right? Along the like top level. But they're like humanoid figures with their robed hoods fully pulled over the faces, so it's just like hooded figures. And they hold a staff, and each staff points towards the door. So even as the gargoyles move, the positioning of the hand is changed, if that makes sense. So that all the staffs are pointing at the door.
How many of them?
10.
Is there any place to put a battery?
No.
I want to go near this big slab of rock. It's going to be like a fucking golem of some kind.
You would allow it to investigate.
So, is there any other exits out of this room, or is it just the vault? Vault-looking thing. Be my luck, it's going to be a bloody prison.
Yeah. Sorry, ask the question again.
Is there any one way in, one way out of this room?
So obviously the way across from you, if you read, so there's almost like two corridors that both lead to this rectangle room. So the way to exit, there's another 40 foot that way, and a room that looks very similar to the one you've just come out of. Not exactly the same, but another similar circular room.
There's a vault, so lots of stuff pointing to it. 3 So looks like there's 3 kind of coloured
Three,
gems
yeah,
above the
three.
door.
Well, they don't. It's hard to tell whether it's a gem. It's almost, when it's so bright, like almost as if it's. It's hard. You're not actually seeing anything physical because there's just light. Do you know what I mean? But there is
Can I do
a.
another Arcana?
You would have to get closer.
Of
This is
course.
where your perception was to see what you could see from, like, what can I peek from over here? But if you want to investigate or
I want to
Arcana, you need to get a
investigate,
bit
but I'm going to
closer.
be doing it in the most stealthiest possible way that you
Yeah,
can.
your 19 still runs.
And I will accept disadvantage if that means, protective kind of checking. I'm not going to like jump onto a trap or something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to do disadvantage, or is that you just fine with me?
No, that's fine.
Cool. Actually, first, can I just check for traps? If it's a vault or a jail or whatever, I'd imagine there's something.
Well, yeah, I remembered.
Yeah, investigation is fine. It's 22.
To check for traps.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're almost just gonna step up to the door, and then you're like, wait, and then it's been a long time. You've not like explored a dungeon in an age. It's been it's almost like a past life now with all that you've been through recently. That like the last time you were like scrolling through a dungeon like this, you almost forgot yourself for a moment, and then bring the foot back, and you do notice that the 10-foot space in front of the stone slab seems to have some magical aura to it. It was very close.
Is this a Chris trap?
No, it wasn't. No, it was just he was being very, very careful, and then he was just like, "Okay, I will go up to it." And then
Wasn't going to run into a room and get enclosed this time.
But he thought he found the trap.
Mm-hmm.
Hard for him to tell what to do with it, but you found it.
Can I see like edges of?
Yes, so I'd say that you can't quite see them perfectly, but you'd be able to mark them with that 23. You almost again with your chalk.
I won't mark them. I just want to know where they are because I don't want to touch.
Yeah. What I will say is, so to investigate or deal with the door without dealing with that, you can do it, but it is a disadvantage as you're preoccupied a little bit with trying to not touch the pressure plate that's gonna.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. 15.
Okay.
Would have been another 22, but.
Mm-hmm. So as you get a bit closer, because it's all this black volcanic rock, it's really hard to pick out. But as you get closer and start to run your fingers down, there are almost intricate carvings covering the entirety of this rock.
As you just said, it's like looks kind of volcanic from this plane. Could it be like
no, but not from the fire plane, you don't think, but definitely not of this plane either. It's almost if you took volcanic rock and then polished it so it becomes one of those, the smooth stones you pick up on the beach that have been worked over and stuff. It's just that but almost it feels natural. It doesn't feel like somebody's worked it. It feels like like I said, those stones that have been worked over by the river and just slowly over time have worn down into a smooth surface. But as you sort of run your fingers over it, there's almost like you feel faint pulses of arcane energy as you sort of touching down the points of the door.
Into the rock.
Yes. There are 3 dominant runes in this etching. It's almost like, and again, if you like a little bit Fifth Element-y, right? Like the wavy style etching, like where it's just it looks like just a geometric pattern until you get close enough and see that actually hidden within the pattern is runes. But it covers the whole span of the door, but you're finding important sections that are linked by this by the energy circuits almost.
So just so I've got a really clear picture, doorway, rock in front of it. Like somebody, like you said, someone's
but
dropped.
not even in front of it. It looks like it's sliding out of the inside of the door frame. You know, like as if it was a sliding door that came down. The stone still goes up to the wall, and it's in the door frame space, but it's almost.
Right. I was thinking it's like just a big stone that I was expecting to suddenly stand up.
It's almost like a slab that's now that you're close to it, does almost look like it's slid down from like a wall cavity with it from above. As you see in these more dominant rooms, they circle the lights. And as you do look a little bit closer, you can see that the lights aren't gems or any other such thing. It is like the energy that is being collected and stored in the center of this room. And it's almost, as you get close to the red one, it's almost like if you took one of your fireballs, or like, the firebolts that you see wizards do, and it's, and shrunk it, down to like marble sized, and trapped it in a marble and put it there. And then if you take a little look at the other one, there's almost like purple crackles of like almost lightning, but just like little purple shock fires. And in the last one, even though it's giving off this grey light, nothing. There's nothing inside, like no sign of anything. You can't pick anything out.
Does it look like what's in the vial?
Little bit. Not exactly. Like it's definitely not that in a glass ball instead, but it does give you that vibe.
So fire, thunder, fate.
If that's what you pull from that. If you would like to try and mess with the door more, you can attempt it.
In for a penny. Woohoo! Don't know what I'm rolling. I rolled a 17. What am I adding?
Well, what are you doing? I want to know what like. So what? It's more less. It's less of what like. It's less of a roll. It's just like what you've sort of gathered what you can. You're running your fingers over it. There's no keyholes. There's no handles.
So I was originally looking for Arcana because I thought, is there a way that I could interrupt this, or can I figure out?
So you definitely think that you can interact with this, even just running your finger down it. There's almost energy bursting off it and interacting with your own energies. So you definitely think you can mess with it. It's just figuring out how.
I want to. I've still. Can anyone remember if I moved? I think my Crimson Right is no longer on my sword; it's in my hands, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because in that way,
you did that when you were
when you transformed.
Yeah, I changed it because
when you created that path for yourself.
Yeah. So in that case, poke in the red one.
You just can't resist, can you?
Okay.
Nope.
That's prod stuff. What does this do?
So,
Just got to throw out at some point, one time, it will benefit, and Liam will put it there in the expectation that I won't do it because he's killed me 2 or 3 times before. So
no. You are the chaos of the group. Go for it.
Okay. So you take a finger and you sort of touch it to the gem. There's almost like a weirdly long pause. Like if there was anybody in the room, you'd have probably looked at them like, oh, it's not bad now. First of all, and not that this massively not that it's massively bothersome to you, but all of a sudden as you touch it, the area in front of the door explodes in fire. And it literally like 15-foot cone outwards. Now, normally, not too much of a beef for you. You are going to take 15 points of fire damage. Now, the issue you mainly have is...
Am I getting... do I reduce any of that? Can't remember.
I don't know off the top of my head. Check your character sheet.
You can carry on. I will either take 15 or I'll do...
Yeah. Don't stress. The issue you're actually having is I now need a dex save, please, because you were very precariously trying not to step in the 10-foot space behind you, and a gout of flame just shot you in the face. So a dex save to like do a leap.
Fine. That's... I've got 19, I think. I say
Okay, so you jump and like almost like tiptoe, and like grabbing hold of things, and you put your hand back to the door. As all of a sudden there was that explosion outwards, and then as you put your hand back to it, all the flame sucks back in, and you can't take your hand off, and your fire is down your hand and into the light that is on the door. You feel your energy being taken, as this is almost like trap, like the black hole for things of the fire plane. Can you... Well, what do you want to do first of all? In terms of, is there anything you can just straight up think, like literally your hands there and all the fire that did burst outwards like back in?
So firstly, are we talking full hand or finger?
I'm almost thinking that you went... No, so you poked it, the fire went off, and in the sort of deck save dance, you put your hand back on the wall for stability to not do, you know what I mean, to not touch the thing, and then it went and pulled you to the wall.
Cool.
What would you like to do? As it's just burning off the
Can
energy.
Can I just do strength to pull my...
Try just a straight athletics. Now, are you trying to be careful of the trapped area, or are you just trying to yank out?
I'm assuming if I'm careful, I would be disadvantaged on the strength.
However, you have... Well, no, if you're shifted... Sorry, I didn't know. You're not still shifted anymore, do you? Are you?
I'm still shifted.
If you've still shifted, you have advantage on strength things, so it'd be flat, wouldn't it?
Okay, cool. Then yeah.
Okay. So you sort of widen your stance a little bit, get set, and give it a go. So it'll be a flat athletics.
Athletics. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. That's 18.
Okay. With a you like step back again, almost having to step wide to avoid, and you step back into the room, your arm tingling. You once again.
You take more damage.
As you do step back in the room that you came from, so the one that was all weird and season changey, you would see Eechie sort of like looking about, and he sort of sees you and is like, Dante, where have you been? And as he's sort of running over to you, I'm going to flick back over to...
He's running to me.
He is running to you.
Wonderful.
Because he thought he had like completely lost it. He's just like sprinting up. He's a good still 50, 60 feet away, but you can hear and see him. Interestingly, in the season changing room it does affect his flowering.
Wow.
So like as he sort of stood there, you see Eechie sort of sprout the very, very small summer flowers and then lose them again and go the paler colour, and then as they do seem to be affected by the seasonal changes in the room. Give me a D4 actually, Chris, as I'll say this will be whatever season he's on when he leaves the
3. He's autumnal.
Yeah, as he gets out, it's almost like that. There are still sort of some small buds of the flowers that were there before, but they're starting to drop off and lose their colour.
You need to remember to tell him that.
Message it.
Appreciate it.
Somebody message it in the group chat sort of now if you want. Chris, you can tell him as I'm going to flick back over to Volu and Eleni. So you would easily have got back to where Sir Artur and Ash are. Now that things are sort of cleaned up, they just seem like on watch, and it does. There is sort of like a weirdness in the air. Just they're not really talking to each other. They're very much on edge. It feels almost like they're a bit paranoid.
Okay. I mean, I would sort of collect up any arrows that weren't completely knackered.
Mhm.
You know, also clean weapons, just, you know, and then maybe sit down where they are, and just sort of say, "Are you okay?"
Also sort of nods, and you sort of again as he turns, you can still see the bits of the black markings around the neck. So yes, I was not expecting such a depth down here. We would normally bring more provisions. When Eechie invited us, it was just a short exploration. I mean, and even for you guys, you've been traveling, a few hours now.
We have places to be as well later on tonight. I don't think we were planning to be here for this long. What do we know what time of day it is, Liam?
Well, so it was about 6 p.m. when you met him.
Oh,
Met
is this
them.
the night before?
I'm pretty
So
sure you met up with them the evening
we
before you.
did. It was the evening, not the day.
So it's getting
So it
to
wouldn't be
maybe
tonight. It would be tomorrow. We have places
no,
to
yeah,
be.
it would be tomorrow. You have places, but to be fair, they don't know that. But yeah, it'd be coming to like 8, 9 p.m. something like that. Probably closer to 8
So
than
we're going to
9.
need to properly full rest at some point.
I mean, you haven't done much in the day, but yeah, soon. So in the next 2 hours or something. And that depends very much on whether you want to stay down here to do that or because you can push it. If you do it in the next, the next 2 hours is when you would have been, because in the city you would be going to bed at like 10, 11 p.m., right? Like normalish times. But you can push past that, but it's up to you whether were you planning to camp down here?
I would probably ask him that and say we
I would
weren't
say
really prepared for
we are
that.
not
But
we are not prepared for camping, but we have rushed it before. We have sleeping bags; they are always with us, but we don't have a tent or any other such comforts. We would struggle to find things for a fire down here, although we have Ash and your friend.
Are we assuming that those things that came through the portal, if that's what it was, that they were what infected the golem and set him off on his spree during the race?
I mean, potentially. I worry now that it is turned off. It seemed to be fighting a lot of the creatures.
It was probably doing more good than bad. Can we switch it back on?
We would need that power source from your friend Dante. I do not know how far up ahead they are.
How long have they been gone now? How long is it since?
I mean, how long would you wait? Because I assume you wouldn't wait a full 40 minutes.
I don't think. Well.
Or would you? It hasn't been that yet, but this is why I want to know how long would you wait to see whether that would trigger even.
I don't know if Eleni would wait more than 15 minutes, and I think it's that sort of knowing what she doesn't know that Artur knows what Dante is, but knowing what Dante could do if he wasn't Dante anymore. I don't know if we'd leave Eechie on his own for that long. I don't know, Volu, what do you think? It's that sort of. We'd probably want to go after him in a little bit, wouldn't we?
The sooner we all get together, like we can kind of figure out what we need to do next. We've kind of just been ambly walking through these rooms, encountering monster, angel, flesh tunnels.
We could end up stuck down here if we're not careful. Maybe we should go find them.
Okay, so what I would say is, at the time that you know it's asked, it was maybe 10 minutes. You waited another 5 before sort of heading off to find them, and I think, yeah, to be honest, I think because needing only another, they will still wait here. They'll say we will still make sure nothing follows up behind.
Thank you. And I still have the horn if we need you.
Not a problem. And they will hold up in this position as you guys set off down the tunnels. I'm going to flick back now because they would have maybe about 4 minutes or so before you guys are going to arrive. So Eechie would run up into the room and be like, Dante, don't walk off. You know it is dangerous, man. Are you okay? You're muted, by the way. Dante.
Ow. That hurts.
What's happened?
It's a door of some kind.
Well, yes, I see that, but why are you in pain? Did you mess with it?
I touched the fire. I thought I'd interact. It nearly swallowed me.
How do you mean?
When I touched one of those orbs, it tried to sap. It siphoned off my life source, not just the fire. And that's what it felt like. But there's something behind this door.
Even so, we need to be careful down here. I don't know how much longer we should rest.
I think, there could be something of importance is behind here. I don't know. I felt something.
We will take a look at the door.
There's 3 gems. And I will point over to the door, and well, not even gems, 3 power sources. And there's the red one was fire. I think the other 2 were other planes. One I feel like it's thunder. Hang on, thunder or lightning? Very different things. Because I can deal with thunder.
I mean, that's what you've assumed it to be.
I think one's thunder, one's fire. And then one I think is Fey.
Interesting. He is going to start stepping closer to the door.
I've interacted with the fire. I think I can do something with the thunder. And I'm just going to raise my bow, because that's also got its Crimson Rider still on it as well.
As Eechie steps to touch the door, there is a shift of the plate.
Shit!
Of the trap.
Oh my gosh!
There is.
Oh my god.
Okay, there is a loud pop. Can you make me an Arcana? And Eechie disappears.
Nice.
Oh my god.
18.
That was a banishment spell. However, interestingly, the trap immediately resets.
Shit. Banishment, that lasts for a minute.
From what you know.
I'm going to wait a minute.
Yes, you pause a minute. There's another loud pop, and Ichi just like, what the? Were we attacked?
Where did you go?
It's like the ethereal plane. It looked like some empty plane space.
You were just here and then you disappeared.
I felt something move under my foot. You didn't notice it, or?
I think you may have been banished. I forgot to tell you, I'm sorry. Like, I wasn't paying attention to I was looking at the energy course.
Okay, well, I'm not. We were supposed to be resting, and now.
Just beforehand. Because, firstly, just wanted to say the fire power, the fireball inside the thing, has that changed at all? Is it
No.
more pulsing? Is it anything like that?
The lights may be brighter.
Before you do anything, I wanted to test a theory. And I'm going to take an arrow, notch it, and fire it at the purple one. Because that's got thunder on it.
Okay. So you guys who have been making your way down the tunnel, you are sort of making your way towards this first circular room on this side. And again, you're sort of seeing as you enter, there's the shifting of the seasons, and there's the almost moving images. For both of you, doesn't feel comfortable.
Okay.
And Eleni, not that it feels like any sort of concern, and they're not acting in any way to be concerned. But again, while you're not being affected by the shifting of time, one of your moths sort of comes out, grows, ages, dies, and then almost like they're again following that season transition. But again, they're not worried, and you're not feeling
Are they
any
being
depletion.
replaced?
Yeah, they're going through the seasons as they would.
Okay. Yeah, this is.
It doesn't feel like you're losing any, but visibly in front of you, and then a little tiny one comes out and grows.
Can we see Eechie and Dante?
Not quite. You're sort of coming to, because again, these are really big circular rooms, so you've not quite got to the central bowl to be able to look yet. However, you're there when this boom goes off, because the thunder damage is obviously like a
Yeah.
And that's immediately from the corridor to your left. But make the shot first, because it's gonna go off whether you hit or not. But we'll see if you are able to hit the point.
Rolled a 17, so +8, 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely hit.
Do you want me to do the full damage or just the thunder damage?
You don't need to do any of the damage.
Okay. Cool. That probably did nothing then.
I mean, did something.
It makes you feel so much better, doesn't it?
For you guys outside of the room, you don't hear this bit. So you hear the boom, clap of thunder. For those in the room, all of a sudden, your minds are filled with screaming, begging, crying, but almost too much to even focus on, and it's just pounding and pounding. And as in between, you're hearing prayers and wishes, and please save my mum, please, my farm is going to burn. We don't have enough food for the season. Just bombardment of voices. And can you each make a wisdom saving throw? You do get your 4 plus 3. No, 4 from Eechie's thing.
Is that
No.
all of
plus,
us, Liam?
it plus 3, and then it's a plus 4
It-
roll.
it's-
isn't it?
A plus 3.
Okay, 19 altogether.
Wisdom save plus 3.
You two don't get it. It's only me and.
No, yeah, you two are okay.
Oh, we're not in the room, are we?
Oh, right.
So we
Okay.
yeah. So you guys don't even hear the voices or the
Right,
weird. Like
good.
you heard the crash and the boom.
That's
then for
good,
those in
because
the
that was a
room-
shit whiz
Yeah.
save.
So
I'm scared to use this. I've rolled it. I accidentally rolled it early, and it's the first time I've ever rolled it, and it was a nat 1.
Oh. Now
So
you need
this
to get
dice
the
is-
salt and like a little circle, and yeah.
I'm scared of this
okay,
dice
so
now.
22 half to 11 psychic damage. As your minds just fill with almost like desperation and pleas. And interestingly for you, Dante, as obviously you were there the last time, none of the trying to suck you into the orb thing this time. Not even the same. Like the initial boom was very similar, but you think that was maybe a reaction to the fact of your nature rather than a.
And what about the the purpley thing?
Still shining. But again, that one actually gets a little bit dimmer. I would say that with your standard intelligence, it's almost like that is energy that is being spent, and if you were not the nature you were, it wouldn't have recharged the fiery one.
Right.
But it basically threw out fire and then recharged itself off you.
Cool. So
Whereas the light on the red one is almost a little bit brighter, whereas the one from the purple one is now decreasing in brightness.
I think I've got this. And best step out. And I'm gonna notch a couple more arrows.
Eechie sort of begins to step out, and I'd say that as this is happening, you two have got to the end of that corridor to see what the boom was, and would see Eechie and.
I'm just gonna. Is there any? Do we have anything to protect our ears?
Well, you would know it.
No, it's not the sound, is it? It's the whisk.
No, it's in your head. Now, I will say that for Dante, you do know any trap, even magical ones, do have like physical counters as well as. Do you know what I mean? Like there is multitudes of ways around this. It just depends how you want to go at it. Obviously, I can tell that you're thinking right now, just ping a bunch of arrows and use up the energy.
I don't know what you're talking about. No, okay, fine.
But no, and that is a valid way to do it. But also, in the same way as if you can see a trap, shooting it will set it off, but it will, it will use it. But you don't know what setting off the trap does, right? In the same way as you could go and take the time to disable the trap and nothing will happen, but that's harder to do than just shooting it, right? It's exactly the same. I'm just letting you know your options. And then you would see the other sort of approaching. So you guys, you're like 20 foot down the corridor from them. Each you would sort of say, "Oh, hey guys, Dante's found a weird door."
Great.
We need to get into it.
Do we not need to have a rest before we start doing this? We're all tapped. I've got no spells left. We're injured.
Hungry.
You're always hungry.
I was thinking, say, just open the door just so we can see what is inside.
What if there's more creatures behind that?
I didn't think there would be.
What's making you want to open the door so bad?
I feel like something is in there.
But not a nasty creature that wants to kill us.
Yes.
Or not another flesh tunnel.
That is why I say there is no dark, there's no tentacles around her.
What is
You both would
drawing
see,
you
sir,
to
that
the door?
Dante's Dante's still holding the power source. It's like the cylindrical tube of light that he's sort of holding in his left hand.
The tentacles were after this, and if there was something in here, they would be around this too.
But that also was obviously powering the golem and could have been here since before then.
I expect it would have been.
And we can't switch the golem back on. He was actually quite useful. We can't switch it back on without this.
But with this back on, we would have been kept fighting, and the flesh.
No, I agree.
It was right to turn it off.
Yeah,
it was right to turn it off.
But I'd really like a rest before we trigger anything else.
Well, it can't be too long. I've got places to go tomorrow.
We've got places to go tomorrow.
Yes.
We're a team, Dante.
Sorry, I forget. Can we? If we can rest.
Can we have an hour just to catch our breaths? Maybe have something to eat.
Could we rest maybe in here, just so I can keep a lookout? Just
Artur and Ash are back in the original room.
I just wanted to have a look again at these things, just to see if I could figure out how it works.
Has anything in here damaged you or attacked you or caused any problems?
Attacked? No.
Eechie will nod towards the door. There is a trap in front of the door. It's banished me.
Then we need to be on our best game for this.
So
the door also seems to have some sort of protections. If why don't
fire?
I don't think I'm that useful here. I will go and get Artur and Ash if you want to stay here with Dante.
I still think we should all go back to a room that isn't going to harm us in any way, isn't going to banish us to some strange place. It's not that far away and we can come back here.
Okay, if that is what you wish.
I'm happy to be outvoted. I
understand people's hurt and things. I was just interested with how
we also found another room and another 2 rooms, but we didn't go too far. There's a little bit of a maze down here with some really interesting stuff, but
to be fair, Lenny, as you sort of look, the only other exit from this room is the corridor that extends out the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of that corridor looks like it's the same sort of colour as the fire motif room.
So,
but Eechie will say, I think Eleni is being sensible. Let's not get caught up in all of this, what's going on. I am excited as well, but
sorry, I forget myself.
Also, while we have a moment, I think Artur has figured out, sort of nod towards Dante.
Is he going to do something about it?
Doesn't seem like it's for the moment, but they were definitely pressing me to make a decision.
A decision?
On what?
They think it is unwise to I mean, you did make the good point. I keep losing Dante. To allow Dante to walk around so freely with something so heavily charged right below the surface.
You wish to imprison me?
No.
Dante now just looks down and looks sad.
Maybe we could put you on a lead, like with small children, to stop them from wandering off. I'm going to sort of look at you and raise an eyebrow. I'm teasing.
He did not. He did not seem aggressive, but also he is very resolute. They definitely think it is risking many for the one.
So he will not help.
I don't think in anything that we're trying to do with Demetrius. No, I don't think he will help there.
But then we
I
didn't
mean,
necessarily
potentially.
expect him to, did we?
No, I just something to be aware of. Be alert. I don't think he did not give me the impression that he was ready to do anything now. I don't think he really has the energy, if I'm being honest.
What's
So,
our aim
can-
down here? I mean, I know.
Can I just ask?
Sorry, go on.
Obviously, if you think me a danger, then I'll understand you wanting to side with someone more senior in your ranks.
It's not about thinking you're a danger, Dante. Factually, you are. We all know, while it hasn't happened in a while, we know what can break out. We know what can happen if you were to die.
And
We have always accepted this. I am willing to accept that risk. All I am saying is that Artur is not. And his arguments are not without merit. It is just not how I wish to play things.
Dante kind of now looks a bit dishevelled and sad at Ichi's words.
Either way, I think we should rest.
I think
Maybe.
we need to rest. I think it should still be Dante's decision what happens with Demetrius and what we do there. I don't think it's Arta's place necessarily to make that decision.
I wanted to ask, with this knowledge, am I safe to rest near?
Yes, like I said, I don't think he will do.
But if based on what you've said,
We're not going to be sleeping, and we're not
I
going to
don't
rest
think
and
we
do
should
anything,
sleep
do
down
we?
here. No, but we were never planning to sleep down here.
My worry is that if we don't take a rest now, even just getting out of here, we could come across other things. We need to think about starting back at some point.
yes, I know.
Why? Sorry, Dante. I don't mean to interrupt. Continue.
I was just thinking maybe rest a safe distance away from the others. If they do not trust what is cursed inside me.
Okay. There's obviously we've a lot to digest, and Dante clearly feels safer at a distance from Sarata. So why don't we? This room is fairly closed compared to the other rooms. I will stay here with Dante, and you guys can go to the other side of the room. We can be fairly close. I wouldn't stay in that room there. It seems to my cloak. It was almost shedding, but not shedding. I don't understand it, but maybe on the other side. So then it's almost like you're guarding that way, and we can guard this way, and that way we can be a little bit more at ease. And I'll kind of look at Eleni and Eechie, kind of give them a stare.
We even have the room that we've set the trap in. Follow the celestial room. But yeah.
Dante, do you want to go there with me?
Each would say we should all be an eye line of each other. Down the corridors is fine, but
agreed.
It was definitely more safe. So if we would stay here and you just the other side of the corridor.
I'm not leaving you on your own, so I'll stay here too.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Each will say, I will go and inform Ash and Artur of what we are doing and then return.
Okay.
Okay, so you
How
start
long
to
is
sort
the
of set
corridor
up.
itself, Liam?
40 foot between the connecting
so
rooms.
We could even rest in the corridors, couldn't we?
That's
yeah, and they're like 20 by 20 high, so you could literally stay in between the two rooms.
Okay.
So yeah, anything you would specifically like to do? Obviously, you know that Artur and Ash are probably going to turn up sooner because they have started and been resting.
I mean,
But
technically, Lenny and Bolu have as well.
yeah, it's only. But if you want to get a rest, or if Eechie wants to get a rest because he has now been damaged, that you would have to do an hour from now. So, is there anything anybody wants to do specifically in that time?
Not particularly. I might just go to Volu and just be like, I just want to thank you, Volu, for your kind words. This isn't a pleasant thing for me. I appreciate it.
I understand the feeling when the world is kind of not what you expect, and people don't react the way you think they would. And I think it's nice just to have someone who understands that in this moment. And
I am worried now, though. People always would see the beast inside, and they either wish to kill it or harness it. I'm worried that if Sir Artur thinks of me like that, what will be his position? I don't wish to put Eechie in a awkward position either. He has been nothing but a loyal friend.
Eechie has been really good. At times, I find him a bit stoic, to be polite.
He does sometimes
But
go high and mighty, but
it's good that he has a cause and he believes in it. I respect that, but sometimes it irritates me. But he's also shown that he doesn't blindly follow that faith.
I do agree. I would just I'm worried for what might happen if Sir Artur chooses that I am a threat that needs neutralizing. If this fire needs extinguishing,
then he'll have to get through all of us.
I appreciate you, Volu.
Right.
But can you just, if Eechie gets a little bit stuck, can I rely on you just to help? I don't wish to fight. But
if Eechie decides to make that choice,
it's not more if he freezes. I'm more worried about if he gets stuck.
I will act.
Dante will put a hand on your shoulder and just be go, you are a good friend. And right now he's still all fiery, so you've now got.
I was going to say there's like there's a warmth, almost radiating off Dante right now, and as we have that.
I thought you were going to say he puts his hand on and Volu sets on fire.
my moment to strike.
Just his cloak goes up, dry leaves and fire.
Sorry, Dante is the BBG.
But yeah, so as Dante, as that little moment, that is where we'll call an end to part 1. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for playing. As always, hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you know when the videos are coming out. And as always, roll well. Bye. This is the end of part 1. Part 2 airs Sunday 7 PM GMT, or will be linked in the top right of your screen now. Thank you for watching, and roll well.